Hi, I'm Tamusos, and let's get serious. Yeah! Holy Paladins, Paladins of the Light, the time has come. To understand it, one must study it, or watch this video. I've managed to make sure in this video, I give you everything you need to be able to play in PvE and play well. Avenging Wrath is the most powerful ability on your toolkit. It is very, very strong alliance. Wield it well. Instant cast. 20 seconds of maximum power, 20% critical strike increase. You can save the day. It's much easier to use, especially if you're a beginner, than Avenging Crusader. This version of Wings demands that you have up to 3 holy power generated before you can even activate it. As you can see here on the globals, I have to go Crusader Strike, Holy Shock, get my holy power to full, and then, well, to 3, and then I can actually activate it. Make sure Crusader Strike, ka-ching, hit and heal your allies. In addition to that, it will also mean that Judgment will heal your allies. So be sure that you throw Judgment in the correct places when people are lowest, as Judgment heals for the most. Holy power generating abilities are essential to success on a Holy Paladin. Holy Shock in particular is the most important ability to ensure you use off cooldown. It has a 5.5 second cooldown and it has a very low mana cost. Not only that, it also has a 30% passive critical strike increase. If you can get close enough to your enemies, yeah, the heat of battle, the sweat, the blood, draw swords and Crusader Strike them. If you do that, you'll gain holy power. It has up to 2 charges if you pick the correct talent points. Now there's another advantage to doing so. When you do Crusader Strike with this talent, then you will actually be reducing the cooldown of Holy Shock. This is a very fun talent to pick, and I would recommend it, especially if you're beginning Holy Paladin. Just make sure you've at least tried Crusader's Might. It's a very fun one. Next, Hammer of Wrath. This ability is very strong. It separates the good Paladins from the great Paladins. The great Paladins will be looking at the mobs they're facing, the enemies, looking for ones on 20%, getting ready to pick up that hammer and chuck it at them. That's going to generate 1 holy power for no mana cost. You're in a tight situation and your allies are low, but you have no mana. You could generate holy power and heal your allies with holy power. If you have Avenging Crusader or Avenging Wrath active, aka Wings, you are able to use Hammer of Wrath even if targets are not below 20% HP. Divine Toll. This is another very strong life-saving ability, but key to note is that it generates 5 holy power because it gives out 5 holy shocks. Now you must be ready to use this effectively. You don't want to be using it when you've got, 1 holy power in the tank, or you're going to throw away 1 holy power. Make sure you're divine tolling and getting your holy power generation in. It's got a 1-minute cooldown, and it is a very strong group saving ability. Holy power generation is key, and every 3 abilities you use will gain you a stack of Blessing of Dawn. What this buff does is it will increase the amount of healing or damage your next holy power spending ability will do. So it's important throughout the fight to track your buff rack. You could even save up charges of this. You could even stack it up twice, save it if you need a big heal, and then pump it out by the light to save the group. It's essential in high keys especially to make sure that you can do this. But for now, just keep track of it and don't let your holy power get to 4 before you actually spend it. Get it to 5. Consuming the buff Blessing of Dawn leads to gaining the buff Blessing of Dusk. This will reduce the cooldown of Holy Shock and Crusader Strike. It's important to maintain the uptime of this buff, and to do so, needless to say, you need to generate holy power and spend it with Blessing of Dawn active. Best way to do that, get to 5 holy power. It's very strong when coupled with Avenging Crusader because it reduces the cooldown on Crusader Strike. Spending holy power, wielding the light is essential. Word of Glory, needless to say, is the glorious spell. It will instantly heal 1 target for a large pumping amount. The targets with the Beacon of Light will also be healed for that amount. So make sure you place it well and you use it consistently. Build the holy power, then wield the light and spend it. Light of Dawn, same situation, but you have to aim it. Aim, spray. Aim and spray. Frontal cone ability. It's a nice big cone in front of you. Make sure you're facing your allies before you spray. You could use it on allies who are on 10% HP or 80%. The worth is still there, so use it. Wield the light. Shield of the Righteous is your damaging ability. You want to use holy power to create damage. This is how you do it. But the problem is, it doesn't do very much damage at the moment. They're going to be buffing that next patch. But if you look at this fight, I think I do about 24k at the max with a hit with it, which is not very good really for 3 holy power. So mostly, I would say use it if you've got wings up. You've got wings up already, use it. If not, don't bother. Awakening! You must take advantage of this talent if you wish to be a very strong healer. You will also do more damage if you do so, as every word of glory or every light of dawn, note, not shield of the righteous, has a 15% chance to give you 8 seconds of wings. So you can continuously keep wings up. Hell, it even refreshes the duration of the 8 seconds if you're to get another proc. Divine Purpose. This is another buff on the buff right you should be taking notice of if you've picked the talents. It'll increase the damage or the healing of your next holy power spending ability by 10%. That could be a shield of the righteous, a light of dawn, or it could be a word of glory. Now, when this procs, are you to use it straight away? You could do. You could use it straight away, and it could be worthwhile. But if everyone's at 100% HP, or if you know a particularly hard encounter, you know, in a certain point in that encounter, there's a mechanic that you need to be ready for, you could cleverly save your Divine Purpose proc so that you can do one instant cast, Word of Glory, and then follow it up with your next one, which will do 10% more. But more importantly, you could have 2 big heals in a row. Casted heals. Holy Light! This is one that everybody knows. It's a slow, steady heal. It's one that you can use when you're low on mana as well because it's an efficient heal. The next one is Flash of Light. This is, oh my god, I'm in trouble, get him up, quick heal. These are the 2 casted heals for Holy Paladin. If you pick the talent, Tower of Radiance, every time you heal a target which has got a beacon, you'll also be generating Holy Power. Now it's important to note as well that when you do Holy Shock, you get this buff. It's called Infusion of Light. And what it'll do is make your next Flash of Light cost less mana, but it'll also make your next Holy Light generate Holy Power. So if you couple those 2 together, a Holy Light can get you 2 Holy Power. It's pretty insane, pretty ridiculous if you ask me, pretty strong. Now, as you can see in this fight here, Beacon of Light is an important spell. You put it on your allies, and wherever you put it will determine who's going to be healed. Now, within the fight, you'll need to change beacons. See that guy got low? He's got the beacon on them already. It's okay. He's going to get healed. I'm playing Avenging Crusader right now. So every single time I strike with Crusader Strike or hit with Judgment, I'm healing them beacon targets too. I'm still going to heal the other guys, but not for as much. Now, Beacon of Faith is exactly the same as Beacon of Light. It's just a talent we pick. And it's the first talent choice you get of the 2, really. It just means you have 2 beacons. But the most effective thing about it is that originally Beacon of Light will transfer heals at 50% reduction. Now it'll only be a 30% reduction on the original beacon, and you have 2. That is the primary strength of Beacon of Faith. So Beacon of Faith is the most efficient way to heal people with beacons for a low mana cost and to get them up quick. Yes. Over time, overall, yes. But is it the best way to do it? If you're new to the game, you know, if you've never used beacons before, it's a lot of clicking, it's a lot of swapping. You know, it's not easily done. You're going to be able to predict the damage and react in time. If you can't do that, pick this one. Beacon of Virtue. Press the button. Costs quite a lot of mana. That's the only unfortunate thing about it. And it's got a cooldown. But when you press it, 4 targets, not 2, 4 targets will be marked with the beacon. And whoever you heal will, of course, get healed too. As there's only 5 guys inside of a Mythic Plus party, right? So if you pick the one without the beacon, you'll heal all the guys as well. But you could pick anybody. Realistically, you could pick anybody and everybody's going to get healed. Apart from that one guy you didn't hit with the beacon. So if you want to be clever, hit the guy who didn't get hit with the beacon. Hit him with big heals and you'll heal the rest. But don't be afraid to heal targets that have got the beacon. Especially if you're playing Tower of Radiance, it'll generate your Holy Power for every flash heal, Flash of Light, or every Holy Light that you do. So yeah, it's a very strong, noob-friendly one. Holy Shock. This ability is important to use regularly, as I said before. You got to shock them up. Not just your allies, but your enemies. Because of Glimmer of Light. This talent will apply a debuff to your enemies and a buff to your allies. It will actually mean that your next Holy Shock will give another little heal. A little glimmer. So keeping the glimmers up, keeping everybody buffed with the Glimmer of Light in a raid group is the key to doing big healing per second. Because that means every Holy Shot you do, you're going to heal them again. Same with doing damage. You're going to damage one guy, everyone else with the damaging Glimmer debuff on them. If you've already shocked them once, they're going to get hit again. So it's essential to keep Holy Shock on cooldown and keep on pumping it. Keep on pumping that Holy Shock. Infusion of Light will occur regularly as you're going to be continuously Holy Shocking your allies as much as possible. Should you take advantage of it every time, or should you not? Probably not. The most important thing is to keep the Holy Power generating abilities flowing. Unless you want a big heal, in that case you should take notice of it and make sure you've got it. Especially if you can stack it with Tower of Radiance. Use it on a Holy Light with Divine Favor, which is basically a 45-second cooldown, which you can use, and it will increase the healing of your Holy Light and its cast speed. It will be reduced. So you can go, boop, pew, heal them up, and it'll cost you less time, and it'll be a massive heal, and it'll get you a lot of Holy Power. Now, if you're playing Inflorescence of the Sunwell, this is a talent at the bottom right. It means that you'll actually get an increase on the benefits of Infusion of Light. In that situation, yes, you should be tracking it quite a lot, and you should be trying to take advantage of it as much as possible, and you'll end up probably spamming a lot of Flash of Lights, because they're going to become very cheap, and it's probably how you're doing your healing. So, if you pick that talent, make sure you're keeping track of Infusion of Light. The alternative to the talent is Empyrean Legacy, and this is what I recommend you play. Now this one is a very fun one. Every judgment you throw, your next Word of Glory will give a big old Light of Dawn on the back of it with a 25% increase. It's got a 20-second cooldown. You have to watch your debuff rack because you get a debuff when you've used it. And then when you use the buff's gone, but the debuff stays. So wait till the debuff's gone, throw another hammer, get another one. It's a real lifesaver. As you can see in this situation, I throw the hammer, it's on the shark boss, there's blood everywhere, boom, a massive heal, massive, absolutely massive. And of course, we're using 2 Holy Power spending abilities, which means we've got 2 chances at the 15% chance to proc a wings. So it's a great way of increasing your uptime of wings. Divine Toll. This ability is another one which you should be thinking about, right? It's a big life-saving cooldown, but it also is going to Holy Shock targets. And as I've told you, that'll apply Glimmer. As you can see, I've glimmered this entire trash pack. So for damage, and damage's sake, using Divine Toll offensively is a very strong thing to do. Needless to say, you can also use it defensively. You could put all the glimmers up on your mates if you're low. Here I've only got 2 glimmers up. I'm in trouble. Boom! I put it up. Everybody's glimmered. Everybody's going to get healed by my next Holy Shock for a large amount. It also heals a lot. It's 5 Holy Shocks. And needless to say, that's something that's a big deal because they can crit a lot. They can all trigger the original glimmers that you had. And if you couple it with Beacon of Virtue, it's insane. It just doubles, it almost doubles the amount it heals, I feel. And it goes boom and heals everyone to full instantly. So Beacon of Virtue, Divine Toll, the most noob-friendly way to be a big AoE heal. So if you're new to Holy Paladin, give it a go, you won't regret it. Put the Beacon of Virtue up, put the Divine Toll in there, boo! They're all going to be up to full, alright? Divine Resonance, this is what happens after you do your Divine Toll. It's important to take note of. It's a little buff on the top right, and basically what it means is, for the next 15 seconds, every 5 seconds, you're going to do a Holy Shock. So if you've got a raid team full of people, make sure you're targeting somebody every 5 seconds or so and hitting them with a new glimmer, right? Because every shock means a new glimmer. The alternative is just to reduce the cooldown on Divine Toll. You could pick that, but it depends on the situation, doesn't it? I think the most popular choice by far is Divine Resonance. Now, Concentration. This is your big damage ability. I can't emphasize it enough. If you can't track your concentration, make sure you can. Get a weak aura, or just make sure you keep paying attention to it, right? Keeping it up is imperative. Not only does it heal your allies, it's your biggest damage. It's your biggest damage. Standing in it will heal them. So make sure you tell people, and if it's a particular raid mechanic where you've got a stack for it, make sure you've got your concentration down. Another one, which is a new talent called Strength and Conviction, means that when you're stood in it, you're going to heal for an extra 20% on your Word of Glory. That's a lot. 20%, that's a lot. Just for standing in it. And half the time, you're going to be in it anyway. So it's quite a good choice in some situations. Blessing of Sacrifice. This is the one you probably know of. This is a tank saver. Very strong. Takes a big buff onto the ally and basically reduces their damage taken. But it transfers it to you. So watch out you don't die. Very important. I've only got a 1 minute cooldown with all the talents selected correctly. And you can use it consistently. You could also use it on the group members. Next, Blessing of Protection. This one is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Bless them with the lights. Remove all physical debuffs. You can use it on a tank. and it will clear their bleeds. You can use it on a member of the raid team, as you can see here. This poor bastard got hit by the bleed of that big wobbly lady. And I'm going to get rid of it instantly with my Blessing of Protection. That hits hard. If you're going to use it on your tank, you could use it when he's got lots of stacks, but he'll lose aggro. So you need a Cancelaura Macro, and you need to give that to your tank. Check the description, I'll give you that. Blessing of Freedom is a great one. You can actually use it to cheese abilities. In Freehold, the boss actually throws the barrel at somebody, targets them, gives them a debuff, and you can clear it with Blessing of Freedom. If you want to be clever, you can actually do it before they even cast the barrel. So yeah, this is not the best example of doing it, but I wanted to show you how that works. It clears the debuff. Works on a lot of mechanics, so you should always just give it a go and see if it works. That's the key. Also, it gives people a 15% movement speed increase. So if you know somebody's got a whole-ass marine, you want to give them this buff so that they can see it and go, oh, bloody hell, I've been given freedom, perhaps I should move. Quite a clever way to do it too. 15% movement speed increase with the correct talent points pick. Blessing of Summer. This is an ability with a 45-second cooldown, and you need to use it because it cycles through other variations upon use. Now, first one increases the damage people do by basically making their attacks sometimes trigger a bit of additional holy damage. Give it to your allies, give it to different classes, see which one's the best. You need to check the damage done by yourself, not by them, because that's where it ends up, and see which one you think is best to give it to. I'm no expert on that one. Blessing of Autumn, I'm a pretty big expert on that one, I would say. I actually use this quite a lot because I love the melee wings. Now, melee wings reduces the cooldown and recovery rate of all your abilities, and it stacks with Blessing of Autumn. So you can do lots of Crusader Strikes and lots of Judgments. Blessing of Dusk will also reduce the cooldown of Crusader Strike, and it does stack. So you're going to have a large reduction on your cooldown of Crusader Strikes. You're going to be striking and healing your allies. Very good for getting through a tough mechanic. I recommend you try this combo. Very good for healing through a really tough mechanic. Lots of Judgments, lots of Crusader Strikes will essentially save the day because of the amount they heal with Avenging Crusader. Next on the list, after you've used that one, you'll get Blessing of Winter. This one, I didn't realize this for quite a while actually, but you can actually now use it on an ally as well. But he has to be a healer, friendly healer. So if you're a mate, you and your mate there, you're like, boo, pew, we're in the light and he's over there with his trees and his flowers, boo, boo. He needs some mana, you can chuck it to him now. You can chuck him some mana. Here you go, mate, have some mana. And that's the key, right? Use it on your mates if they need it. You're a paladin, you don't need mana. Ridiculous, my lord. Pretty good for you if you're in a tight spot too, but probably the least exciting of all the buffs. Next, this one is cool. You can use this one on an allied healer again in a raid scenario, right? You could be on a big mechanic, lots of fire burning, and you know that you've got this holy priest guy over there. Yeah, he's wearing a dress. Yeah, he should be wearing a dress, really, should he? Not like me in armor. Wah! But he's going to heal a lot more than me with those magical spells he does, right? So we're going to give him the Blessing of Spring for that particular mechanic, and then, boo, by the Lord, he's going to save us, right? So you could use it on yourself, and you could use it on the tank too, because technically it increases their healing received. Bear that in mind. And the quicker you go through these buffs, the better, because you get the next one back, right? 45 seconds after you use summer, you get autumn. 45 seconds after you use autumn, you get winter, and so on and so on and so on. It keeps cycling around. So get them done. Don't forget to use them. Very important throughout the course of a fight. Wow, Aura Mastery. You must have heard of this one. Come on, this is the key Holy Paladin Champions of the Day ability, right? You must know about this one. You use it, you get 8 seconds of empowered aura. Auras are like our buffs, our default. We emit an aura with our greatness, and you allies can take advantage of our greatness. It's very good. Now, when we use Aura Mastery, we wield that aura for 8 seconds. You could use it on Crusader Aura to give yourself a speed increase. Go from 20% to 60%. You could use it on Concentration Aura to make yourself immune to interrupts. Some bosses, especially in like Mythic Plus, they can actually give you like a big silence, like the bats in Alderman. You could use this to ignore the silence entirely. This one is a bit weird. It's Retribution Aura. You have to wait till the buff is actually on the guy, and then it lasts for that buff's duration as opposed to the 8 seconds. Wouldn't recommend using it on Retribution Aura unless you really wanted to. It just gives you a 10% increase on healing. Not very good. It could be essentially quite good in a certain situation, but it's a rare, most likely in a raid situation. Now, Devotion Aura. Oh my goodness, this is the one to go for. Keep it up, be ready. This is the one you should pick mostly. Use it, you get 15% flat damage reduction on any ability, okay? If you couple that with the protection of tier talent, you're going to get a flat healing increase by 10% as well. So you want 10% healing increase and a 15% damage reduction on the mechanic. Pick Devotion Aura, press this thing on the mechanic before the mechanic occurs, block the damage, increase your healing, and wield the lights. Avenging Wrath caster build. This is the first talent tree that I would recommend you pick up and give a go. Now, I'll put in here the talents that I would personally pick to make the most powerful caster build. I have done my very best. If you enjoy it, great, fantastic. It's got Beacon of Virtue, which means you can do your big tolls on the full beacon of the full party. Very good for M+ dungeons. It's got every healing increase in the book that you can for casted heals, including Divine Favor. And it's got Crusader's Might. So if you want to get up close as well, even with this caster build, smash him with the Crusader Strike. You're going to get your Holy Shocks back sooner because of the Crusader's Might talent, right? So, yeah, it's a very good fun build, as well as being a caster build. I recommend you give this one a go. If you're completely new to Holy Paladin, you'll be a healing machine. Just follow the ideas that I've put in this video, and you'll be unstoppable! Now, this one is the melee wings build. This is the best build. I'm not talking about the best in the game that I've picked these talent points here. This is my personal version of the best in the game. The best in the game right now for PvE is Avenging Crusader. Of the 2 wings, this is the way to go. Does that mean the other build's no good? No. You can play with the other build all the way up to 2k plus, Ryo. You could use it way higher than that. You could probably time a 23 on with the caster build, right? So do not think that this is the only way to go. It's not. It's really not. But this is a hard way to go. Telling you now, if you've now played Holy Paladin before, it's all about planning. It's all about generating the holy power, using the short melee wings in the right places. So, depending on what you want to do, just take them both, perhaps, and try them both. But bear in mind, at the moment, the strongest way to play Holy Paladin to get the most healing efficiently is Avenging Crusader. I go for dungeon runs with my mate. He's the Guardian Druid. He says he always looks at my mana and he says, "You've got your full mana." So, how do you do that? So it's not really me. It's this. Okay, it's the melee build, right? Melee wings cost very little mana to create lots of healing. So bear that in mind. So if you do the caster build and you struggle, perhaps try the melee build. I just did a video actually as well about what's coming in 10.1.5. Holy Paladins are going to be very strong. Please do take the time to check that out if you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. I've been Timusas, the mightiest of the dwarves. I've also got a stream if you're on there and you're regularly giving me a rally. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for the alliance. We will see you in the next video. Don't forget to drop a comment. If you've got a question, I'll happily answer, and give it a like. Remember, good prevails.